Banahan. Okay. Thank you. All right. Good morning, everyone. Court will continue with the August 16, 2022 docket. And I have here F 2886-22-4 in regards Carmen Luna Benehan. It's a name change application. Can you hear me, Miss Benehan? You need to unmute. There you go. Can you hear me now?
Very far.
Well,
You need to raise your volume.
your volume.
Yeah, it's all the way up.
All right.
But I can hear you.
You can hear me? Okay, very well. You're seeking here a name change, right, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
To what name? From Carmen Luna Benehan to what?
Victoria K. Luna Benehan.
Victoria K.
Dash Luna.
Benehan.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Benehan or Benehan, right?
Yes.
Victoria. And the reason for the name change, ma'am?
I did state Carmen was raped and abused since age 5 by my mother and her boyfriend. Then I learned that Carmen was given to me because of my dad. That was his girlfriend. And also a lifestyle change and a new life. Since for 7 years, I was married to somebody that was on parole. And they don't change. They just learn to be sneakier by the way they do things. So
Okay.
he abused me. He tried to hit me after he bruised me, and I told him, go ahead and hit me. It's okay. But just know that you need to kill me because either way you're going back to prison. And
Okay.
since that day, he just became abusive verbally.
All right.
I was bad in a mental health. Until I got to the Mujeres Unidas, and they helped me a lot with that.
Okay, so you're going to want to do Victoria K.
Yes, sir.
Luna Benehan, right? You're not doing it to defraud creditors or anything like that?
Oh no, it's for my peace of mind. And like I said, so I can get that name out of the way.
Okay. And you're not doing it either to commit a crime or anything like that, right?
No, sir.
Right.
I have a master's in forensic psychology, so I plan to work for the system.
Okay. All right. Court will take judicial notice of the entire file in cause number F2886-22-4 in regards to the name change application of Carmen Luna Benehan. Court will hereby approve the application. All right. And we'll give you the name as requested by applicant. Yes, ma'am.
I do have another request. I consulted many lawyers. I would like my parents to be removed off my birth certificate, or at least just my mother, because every time they ask me to verify, it's like a punch to my stomach.
Okay. Unfortunately, the court cannot help you with that, ma'am.
Yeah, like I don't understand why kids can get emancipated, but at 42, I can't do that.
Yeah. No, court cannot help you with that matter. Seek counsel or something, advice from a lawyer, and maybe see what they tell you. Okay, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you very much. Your excuse. Have a great day, ma'am.
Thank you. You too.
You too. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Number one.
Number one. All right. Court will continue here with the August 16, 2022 docket. And I'm waiting for Mr. Sergio Sanchez to connect. I see Mr. Hinojosa and his clients already on the screen, but I'm waiting. Yes, sir.
Good morning. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. I'm waiting on Mr. Sanchez to connect. He's trying to connect here.
Yes, we did confer this morning, Judge, so I think there may be an announcement to the court this morning, but I'll wait for Sanchez to appear.
Okay. Want to have Bailey give him a phone call or something? Are they connected to a computer or iPad? Well, let's see here. Can you hear me, Mr. Sanchez?
Judge, yes, sir. I'm here, Your Honor.
All right. Good morning. We're here
Good
with
morning.
we're continuing here with the August 16.
Who's his client? I can't remember.
Oh, do you have your who's your
Miss-
client,
Miss
Mr.
Newman.
Sanchez?
Miss Newman.
Erica Newman, right there. All right.
Anybody else?
Anybody else?
Oh, not on this docket, Judge. I do have Nicholas Rocha on, I believe, your 11 o'clock docket. That's
Okay.
a criminal case. I'm
right.
ready for that too.
All right. Yeah, we'll have to wait till 11 o'clock.
Yes, sir.
But we're gonna bring in Erica Newman. Okay, she needs to unmute and show video. Okay, Miss Erica, can you hear me?
Now I can hear you. Yes.
Okay, good morning, man. We don't have a video of you, but we can hear
Yeah, I'm working on it.
you. Okay,
It's one of the first times.
there you go. I think you got it already.
Alrighty.
All right, folks, court will resume the August 16th, 2022 docket, and we have F2848-09-4 in the case of Andres Padilla Olvidio versus Erica Camarillo. Yes, sir, Mr. Nojosa and Mr. Sanchez, good morning.
Good morning, Judge. For the record, Your Honor, Avelino Jose here on behalf of the petitioner in this case, Andres Padillo Oviedo, who is present with me in my office, Judge.
All right, good morning.
Your Honor, good morning. Sergio Sanchez, I was retained late yesterday by Ms. Newman. And Mr. Hinojosa and I have an announcement for the court, an agreement to extend the TRO until Thursday, if the court is available Thursday for the contested hearing. And
Yeah, it won't be this Thursday. I think we're not available this Thursday. You said this Thursday, right?
Right, we're subject to the
yes,
court.
Your Honor, or
Yes.
any day this week, Judge, if it's possible.
Okay, you're gonna have to submit an order setting hearing date, and then we're gonna look at our
And
calendar,
it's gonna be a 2-week recess.
and we're gonna get back with you guys. I think we're looking at 10 to 12, 14 days. It'll be like next week. It'll be like next week. Yeah. Yeah, more like next week, maybe Monday. No?
That's why it was set for today.
Your Honor,
Okay.
with
Okay,
Judge, then I'll defer to the court, Judge. The big issue is, one, I was just hired. I barely spoke with Mr. Hinojosa this morning.
okay.
I have reviewed the documents that have been filed.
We're looking at
The big
August
issue
30th.
is school, is school's starting up. And that's something we definitely needed to address. At issue here is the child to attend school down here in the Valley or in San Antonio, which is where she was attending. We're asking for the quickest possible reset, Your Honor.
Where was she attending school? In San Antonio?
Yes, sir.
That's
Okay.
correct, Judge. But my client has basically enrolled the child here in school, pending the results of the temporary restraining order, Judge. So
Okay.
don't want to miss the education of the child, Judge. So we've enrolled the child in school here.
Well, we've had situations where you do enroll the child as soon as possible here or there, and then we'll have a hearing and then it may change all over again. So just enroll the child, and then we'll hear the evidence and see what happens.
All right, Judge. We'll submit an order setting here. I just need to let the court know, Judge. On Monday, I may be picking a jury in the 4/30th. We have a preferential jury.
Oh, no, I don't think it'll be Monday. It won't be Monday.
It's gonna be
All right,
August
Judge.
31st.
I think we got it already. What day?
August 31st
August 31st,
Very well, Judge.
at 11 a.m.
11 a.m., August 31st, 11 a.m.
Thank you, Judge. I'll submit the order extending for that date.
Right. But it doesn't mean that wherever you, not just because you enroll the child here, that's going to be it. Yeah, I've done situations where it'll be the other way around if that's what the evidence shows. Okay?
Yes, Judge, I have the burden of proof. That is correct, Judge. Oh, Judge, forgive me. We did file a request for the child to interview the child in chambers. Does the court want to just keep that for the 31st also?
It'll be on the 31st. Yeah, I can on Zoom. Yeah.
All right, Judge, thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Honor.
All right. Good luck with that. If you guys come up with an agreement before here on the 31st, by all means, just sign on it and the court will sign it as well. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you all
Thank you
very much.
Your Honor.
Thank
You all
you.
may be excused. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Good day.
I know, because it was during the.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Court will continue with the August 16th, 2022 docket. And we're now with P02 18-22-4 in the matter of the applicant of Tiaro, I believe, Ashley Michelle Hernandez on behalf of children versus Nathaniel Hernandez. All right, folks. Good morning.
Good morning,
Good
Judge.
morning, Judge.
All right. For the record, Mr. Guarena.
Yes, Your Honor, David Godena for Nathaniel Hernandez. He's present here at my office. Also
Okay.
present at my office is his father, Calixto Hernandez, his stepmother, Sylvia Hernandez, and his mother, Juanita Hernandez.
Juanita
And these-
and Silvia. Okay.
And these are the grandparents of the children,
Okay. Paternal.
paternal grandparents, yes.
Paternal. Okay. Paternal. And state who will be your witnesses?
Good morning, Your Honor. Cindy Esquivel for the state. I have the applicant, Ms. Ashley Michelle Hernandez, who
Mhm.
applied on behalf of the minor children. She's
Okay.
available to testify today.
All right.
Is this one right here?
I said Ashley of the light. That's what we have on the.
I believe so, Your Honor.
Okay.
And again, Judge, the only thing that we'd like to address today is we're requesting that the court extend the protective order for as long as the court feels 14 days or longer, and that while the extension is in place, that we are requesting supervised contact with the children.
Okay.
And if I may,
Yeah.
Your Honor, we're not
Yes.
opposed to the extension of the ex parte.
Uh-huh.
And like opposing counsel stated, we would like to be heard on the matter regarding custody or access to the children.
It'll be access to the children. All right.
Yes, Judge.
Do any of these people want to testify?
Who's going to be testifying first? I guess we're going to need to put Ashley first, right?
Yes, Judge, we're prepared.
Okay.
She needs to unmute and she needs video.
All right. She needs to unmute and we need video. All right. There she is. She needs to unmute.
Hi, can you see me?
All right. Good morning, ma'am. Yes, I can see you now. It's kind of cloudy, but I can see you.
Okay.
All right. All right, state. You may proceed. First of all, Miss Ashley, please raise your right hand. You swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
All right. You may put your hand down. State, you may proceed, Ms. Esquivel.
Thank you, Judge. And just
Uh-huh.
before I start, I have not appeared in your court before. I do have some exhibits that I wanted to introduce. Can I share my screen once I get to that point?
Yes.
Okay, they were also e-filed with your
Right.
court. And
Okay.
served to
And Your Honor,
the.
before she places them on the screen and offers them into evidence, Judge, I am going to object, and I'd like to have that done either at the bench or for the court to review them and hear my objection before she places them into or asks for them to be introduced into evidence.
Okay, now I understand there's two exhibits, 1 and 2.
There's four,
Oh,
Judge.
four. Okay, I'm looking at them right now. Okay, the photos are, which is the one, what is exactly that you're objecting to, Mr. Guerrero?
Your Honor, the photo of Joshua Hernandez,
Exhibit 2.
correct. That is from an incident that occurred in 2020.
Mhm.
That case was investigated by Child Protective Services.
Okay,
That case, the investigator interviewed my client, interviewed the child, interviewed the grandparents, did their investigation, and based on that investigation, they provided my client with documentation that ruled out any physical abuse. So that shouldn't even be considered by this court, because if the CPS investigation ultimately resulted in a no finding, I don't believe that that's relevant to this hearing.
so that's number 2.
That's number 2.
All right, State.
Your Honor, relevant and material. Sorry, my video turned off. Because it shows that the respondent has a history of violence, of violent behavior, and subsequent to that incident, Ms. Hernandez did receive a safety plan on behalf of CPS after they investigated, shortly after they investigated the
And
incident.
that's exhibit number 3, right?
Yes, Judge, that's correct.
I have it here. Okay.
And I would just ask the state to stipulate that investigation resulted in a finding of everything being ruled out.
Okay.
Your Honor, I'm sorry, Your Honor.
Yes, go ahead, State.
It's my understanding that Ms. Hernandez was doing a follow-up and she was expecting a call from the CAC. And I think that they did not call her back, but I'm not sure exactly why the investigation was closed. But we do have the photos of the injuries, and the child did state that they were caused by the respondent.
Okay, for this TRO, which are the exhibits that apply to this TRO? Is it number 1?
Yes, Judge.
And which one else?
And 4
see.
is
And 4?
is a medical record that shows that the child
Okay.
received the nasal contusion.
Okay,
And,
so-
Your Honor, I have an objection to number 4 also.
Uh-huh.
Your Honor,
What is it?
Your Honor, it's my objection is that it's hearsay. I don't believe the state has the person who prepared this report present to testify, so I can cross-examine them. Also, Judge, if the court reads the majority of this report, I'll just read a couple of things to the court so the court can see why I'm objecting to it. This child is,
Who did this report, number 4?
Your
well,
Honor,
I don't know who did the report, Judge.
this was a document that Ms. Hernandez received by the ER who examined the daughter after the incident with the respondent.
Correct, Judge.
Okay.
It's a report from ER, but it doesn't say who prepared it. It
Okay.
doesn't, I'm not able to question anybody. And again, Judge, if the court will listen to this, that some of the things in the report, it says if you plan on operating a motor vehicle or using dangerous equipment, then you have to do something that they're telling you to do. This child is 7 years old. It says do not drink alcohol. It says do
Okay.
not smoke. So none of this applies to this child.
Okay, exhibit number 1, that's a picture, right? Who
Yes,
took that
sir.
picture?
That picture was taken by Ms. Hernandez, and she can
Okay, she can
to that.
testify to that. Okay, on that one, that's coming in. All right, exhibit 1 is coming in. And I think for this hearing, this particular hearing only, 2, 3, and 4 are not coming in. Okay, only number 1. Okay,
Okay, Judge, understood.
all right. Did I already give the oath to Miss Ashley? All right, I think I did already. You may proceed, State.
Good morning, Ms. Hernandez. Can you please state your name for the record?
Ashley Hernandez?
Are you the same person who came to the district attorney's office to file a protective order against the respondent, Mr. Nathaniel Hernandez?
Yes.
And did you also sign an affidavit before a notary public swearing its contents to be true?
Yes.
Was the protective order filed for yourself?
No, it was filed for my children.
Can you please explain to the court why you filed the protective order?
Because I don't believe that my children are safe with him any longer. This is the second incident that this happened, and I don't want this to happen anymore. They're very young, And to be hit and treated this way is unacceptable for me as their mother. They should not be treated in this manner.
And you, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, that's okay.
And you are, can you please explain what you mean by this happened? This is the second incident where this happened. What do you mean by this?
The abuse. My son was the first
I'm going to
incident.
object to her testimony about her son. Again, we're limiting the testimony on this case to Natalie Hernandez.
Your Honor, my response is that it is relevant and material given that it shows a history of violence by the respondent towards the children.
And again, Judge, based on the ruling of the Child Protective Services that the incident was ruled out as any physical abuse, we feel that it's irrelevant to this hearing.
Our objection sustained. Well, we're going to stick to Natalie Michelle. Okay.
Okay. Ms. Hernandez, can you please explain what you mean by this incident, but limit it to the most recent incident that you were referring to?
Okay. Well, my daughter was slapped in the face.
Yeah, I'm going to object. I'm going to object to the response. I don't believe Ashley Hernandez was present at the time that the incident happened. She has no personal knowledge. She was not an eyewitness to the incident. So I don't believe she can testify that exactly what happened.
Your Honor, if the applicant is allowed to continue explaining, she will explain how she became aware of the situation.
Okay, objection overruled. You may continue, Ms. Gibbs.
Thank you, Judge.
We were on a duo call. And I was speaking to my daughter, and Nathaniel took the phone away. And duo is like a video conference, like Zoom, but over the phone. And Nathaniel took the phone away from her. He started pointing it at her, and she got upset. And she told him not to do it. And he kept laughing and kept pointing it at her. And she was clearly very upset. She waved it away a few times. Now, I only saw where the phone fell. Nathaniel picked it up and told me that he was going to call me back.
He was going to call you back, is that what you said?
Yes, he was going to call me back.
Okay.
But he never did call me back, so I called him back. And when he answered the phone again, my daughter was near the front of the door, and Nathaniel was trying to give the phone over to my daughter. She didn't want to get near him, so I told Nathaniel to give the phone to my son. So then my son, I instructed him, go put the phone on top of the table. So he went and he put the phone on top of the table. I said, if she wants to talk to me, she'll talk to me from there. So then she got closer to the phone and I said, hey, what's going on? And she showed me her napkin full of blood. From that point, I asked, did Dad slap you? And she didn't say anything. Nate picked up the phone and started blaming me. This is your fault. He said, you know, they have no discipline. This is what happens because you don't get after them. And so after that, he got upset, hung up the phone. I went over because I didn't know what was going on. He didn't let me in. The following day, my daughter told me that he slapped her. And then after he slapped her, he threw her in the room, in a dark room in the back of his apartment. And she was crying and yelling for him to let him out. And he never did. So I don't believe that that is the kind of behavior a father should show his children. I think that that is abuse. And I do not want my daughter around that, especially because I feel like he's not in control of his needs.
And who was present during the incident when it took place? Who was at the home?
My son and Nathaniel and my daughter.
Your Honor, if I may, I would like to share my screen.
Okay. It's ready.
Okay, let me see. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, I see it. Mhm.
Okay. Ms.
That's
Hernandez?
exhibit. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yes,
That's exhibit 1, right?
Yes, it's.
Okay, I have it here. I have it here before me.
Okay, thank you, Judge.
Yep.
Ms. Hernandez, I'm now sharing my screen with you, showing what's been marked as states 1. Can you see my screen, Ms. Hernandez?
Yes, I can.
Do you recognize this photo without telling us what it is?
Yes.
Is this photo a fair and accurate representation as you observed it?
Yes.
Has the photo been altered in any way?
No, ma'am.
Your Honor, at this time, the state would like to submit states 1.
All right, Mr. Loretta, any objections?
I'd just like to ask, take the witness on voir dire, Judge, just to ask if she took the picture.
Yeah, go ahead.
Ms. Hernandez, who took this picture
I did.
and when did you take it?
I took it the 2 mornings after it happened,
So
when she woke up with a bloody nose.
Okay, so if the incident happened on June 12th, this would have been on June 14th?
Yes.
And when you picked up the child on June 12th, did the child have blood on her nose?
I picked her up June 13th.
Okay, when you
in the
picked her up,
afternoon.
when you picked her up on June 13th, did she have blood on her nose?
She did not have blood on her nose, but her nose was swollen. So
Okay, so are you saying that this photograph shows that her nose is swollen?
it's swollen and it's bloody.
Okay, so this blood that that you say is on this photograph that you took, and you took this picture 2 days after the alleged incident,
Yes.
do you know how that blood got on her nose on the 14th?
Yeah, she woke up with a bloody nose. She had been doing that.
What do you know why it started bleeding on June 14th?
Yes, that's how she woke up. She woke up with a bloody nose.
Okay, but listen to my question, ma'am. Do you know why she woke up with a bloody nose on June 14th?
Because of the contusion.
And are you a medical specialist to determine that, or how do you know
No,
that?
but the doctor did tell me in the ER that she would be having nosebleeds for a few days after.
Okay, and the photograph also shows, this photograph that you took, shows that her lips look swollen. Do you know what that is?
Yes, that started after Nathaniel gave her COVID, and they spent 2 weeks with him, the better part of 2 weeks with him. And when she came back, when I finally went to go pick them up, she was clear of COVID. She had that, but a lot worse around her mouth. And
Okay,
he said that it was just chapped lips.
I'm sorry, what did you say about chapped lips?
And he told me that it was just chapped lips. She had never had that before.
Okay, and so who diagnosed that as having been related to COVID?
No one did. This is just how she showed up after I
Okay,
picked her up.
so your diagnosis is that COVID caused her swollen lips?
That's not my diagnosis. All I'm saying is that it happened while she was with him. When I picked her up, that was there. I'm not diagnosing it. I'm just stating the facts of
Okay,
how
so
I got there.
her lips are obviously swollen, but you don't know why.
No, they're not swollen. That's just the way she looks when she wakes up.
Okay,
Her lips are not swollen.
okay, I'll pass the witness, Judge.
Okay,
Yes.
yeah, you may continue, Mrs. Skip.
Thank you, Judge. We were going to limit our questionings on the nose bleeding because I am aware that, and I spoke to the applicant, the lips were a side effect to another issue, Judge. So, Ms. Hernandez, can you let us know, can you describe your daughter's appearance in the photo in regards to the nose area?
It's swollen. It's swollen and bleeding.
And you just stated that the bleeding was a symptom of the nasal contusion. You stated that that's what the doctor told you that would
Yes,
happen?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. She had
Okay.
never had nosebleeds before. And after that, she's had them on and off ever since.
Okay. Do you know who caused the injury that is now resulting in the nosebleeds that we see in this picture?
Her father, when he slapped her.
Okay. And can you explain to us how you know that it was the father who slapped her, as to why she's now getting the nosebleeds? How you know that it was him?
She told me, and her brother told me as well.
Okay. Did you call the police after this incident?
I did.
Can you tell us what happened?
The police showed up to his apartment. They asked to see my daughter.
I'm gonna object, Your Honor, if what she says that the police officers say that's hearsay.
Okay, well, what they
Your
told me,
Honor, excuse me, Ms. Hernandez.
Yeah, objections sustained on any hearsay. But I don't think I've heard any yet, so go ahead.
No, Judge. Ms. Hernandez, can you just tell us in general what happened after the incident when you called the police?
okay, so the police showed up. They told me.
Your Honor, I'm gonna object
Okay.
because what they told
Yeah,
her, it's hearsay.
Yeah, you can't testify to what they told you, but what was the end result of that police visit, ma'am?
Okay, well, they knocked on his
Your-
door. They asked to see my daughter
Your Honor,
several times.
I'm gonna object to what they asked or what they said. It's hearsay.
Okay,
Ms. Hernandez, if I may, Judge,
Yes,
can you just explain the steps that they took and not necessarily the communication that took place between you?
okay. So they got to the apartment. They knocked on Nathaniel's door several times. It was not opened. Their sergeant or their lieutenant got there. He knocked on the door several times. It was not opened. They said that they,
Your Honor, I'm gonna object to what they said.
okay.
sustained.
The door was never opened. They left. CPS contacted me the very next day.
Okay. And was the respondent, Mr. Hernandez, arrested at any point after the incident?
I am not sure. He was, they told me,
I'm
From
gonna
the police
object to
department.
whatever they told her. I don't know who they is, but it's hearsay.
Sustained.
okay, so yes, from my knowledge, yes, he was.
Okay, from your knowledge. Ms. Hernandez, did you receive an emergency protective order as a result of the incident?
I did.
Okay. And on the date of the incident, you said that this happened on June 12th,
Yes,
2022?
ma'am.
Okay. Did you make a call to the respondent's parents at any point that day?
I did.
Can you tell us what you requested of them when you called them?
I pleaded with them to call Nate and to have him please allow me to see my daughter and to know that she was okay, just to know that she was okay. They told me no. They told me that he's feeling cornered right now and that he wouldn't open the door for anyone. So just to leave him alone. And he's probably already apologized to my daughter. and that he'll be fine by the next day. And that was not the case. She needed medical attention, and I was not able to give it to her because, and they didn't help me do that.
When was the next time after that that you had access to your daughter?
The following day around 5:30.
Okay. And Ms. Hernandez, can you tell us when the last time was that the respondent saw your children?
I believe it was on June 13th around the morning. I'm not sure, but he dropped them off at Parks and Rec.
And when was the last time that he made attempts to see the children?
I think it was, I'm not sure. I think it was around June 22nd.
You
I
said
didn't
what?
say-
What
Sorry, I
day?
didn't hear that.
I think it was around June 22nd. I'm not completely sure.
Okay, approximately June 22nd. Okay. And can you tell us, can you explain to the court why you would not feel safe if visitation were, or access to the children were granted with the grandparents as supervisors?
I don't believe that they would say anything or intervene if Nathaniel did lose his temper or hit the children. I believe that they would just cover it up.
And why do you think that?
Well, because that's their son and they do what is best for their son. You know, they don't want him getting in trouble. So
Okay. And you are aware that you have a bench trial coming up on your family case in October, correct?
yes, I am.
Okay. I pass a witness, Your Honor. That's all I have.
Okay, Mrs. Esquivel, before you do that, on the exhibit 1, are you gonna ask the court to admit that as evidence?
Oh, yes, Judge, I did make that request, but I actually don't think I got your ruling. The state would be moving forward to just, submit states 1.
Oh, okay. And Mr. Gorena, I heard your arguments and also your testimony that you elicited from the client, from the applicant. Court will go ahead and admit it.
Thank you, Judge.
Could you remove it? Okay, there you go.
Yes.
Ms. Hernandez, may I proceed, Judge?
Yes, sir, Mr. Gorena, you may proceed.
Ms. Hernandez, how long have you and Nathaniel been married?
Since 2007.
Okay, and during the time that, since the divorce has been filed, there's been several different agreements entered into, whether formally or informally, regarding visitation with the kids, how much time they spend with you, how much time they spend with him. Is that correct?
Several, yes.
Okay, so it's changed over the last 4 years.
Yes.
Okay, and sometimes when you were working, he would obviously help you and take care of them, and he would have them in his possession. And whenever they were scheduled to be with you and you could have them, you would have them in your possession. Is that right?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, and there was no issues at that time. Is that correct?
No, not that I can remember. No.
Okay, and so let's go through. I mean, the last 4 years, obviously because of COVID and some other issues regarding, representation by counsel and then trying to mediate the case. It's never been resolved to a final hearing. Is that right?
Yes.
So any temporary orders that have been entered regarding visitation really haven't been complied with because things have changed over the last 4 years. And each of you has tried to be with the children as much as you can. Is that a fair statement?
Yes,
Okay. And this incident that we're talking about that occurred on June 12th, do you know what the address was where it occurred?
1800 West King Street, apartment letter F, Amber, Texas.
Okay, and that's an apartment, right?
Yes,
Okay, and when you became aware of the incident, you ultimately prepared an affidavit to request a protective order, is that right?
yes.
And do you recall what you said in your affidavit regarding what happened or what your understanding of the incident was?
Yes.
Okay, and if you can clear this up for me and tell me if this is what you believe. For some reason, Nathaniel and Natalie were discussing the use of the phone, and it resulted in her either throwing the phone or losing the phone, or somehow the phone slipping out of her hand and hitting him in the face. Is that what you understand?
He was holding the phone and she swatted it out of his hand and it landed on his face.
It landed where?
On his face.
Okay, it didn't land on his face. It couldn't have landed on his face. It hit his face. Is that right?
He was laying down at the moment, so it landed on his face.
Okay, so she slapped the phone out of his hand and it landed on his face.
Yes.
And in your affidavit, do you remember stating to Nathaniel, both of you were wrong?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so your reaction, or based on what you saw, heard, or what Natalie told you, his reaction to what happened was based on her knocking the phone out of his hand and it landing on his face. That's why you said it's both of your faults, isn't it?
No,
You're
that's not
both-
why I said it's both of your faults.
Why did you say you were both wrong?
Because I wanted him to let me in to see my daughter. And if I didn't place some blame on her, he would definitely not let me in.
Okay, this affidavit, you were under oath when you signed this affidavit, ma'am.
Yes,
So you say on your affidavit under oath that you told them both of you were wrong. Was that a lie?
to him, not to the affidavit.
Okay, was that a lie, ma'am? Yes or no?
To
Your
Nathaniel.
Honor, I'm gonna
yes,
object.
but not to the
Relevance, Your
affidavit.
Honor.
I did text him that.
Objection, objection overruled.
I think it's very relevant that if you lied then, how do we know you're not lying now, even though you're under oath?
That is one of the things that I have to do to moderate the situation with him,
have to
because
lie.
he loses his temper very easily. And I really have to manage what I say to him. So that way, maybe I can get a chance to see my daughter. So
Okay.
yes, that is what I texted him. That is what I texted him. But
Okay,
it's,
but you're saying under oath that you told him that they were both wrong, and that's what you signed on your affidavit. Is that correct?
Your Honor, objection asked and answered. She already explained why she stated that, and she did state it in quotes. So it's not necessarily her saying it, but she's quoting what she told him. Like her believing it, but she's quoting what she told him.
All right, sustained. Go ahead, Mr. Ortega.
Okay, over the years, Natalie, the kids have had relationships with their father, obviously, and you, but they've also had relationships with their grandparents. Is that true?
yes,
And at times over the last 4 years, since you all have had this divorce pending, the children have stayed with their grandparents on several occasions. Is that correct?
yes,
And even last year, in the year 2021, when Nathaniel was living with his mother, they actually lived with her for some time. Is that correct?
yes.
Okay. And do you think that that Juanita Hernandez and Calixto Hernandez and Sylvia Hernandez love their grandchildren?
Yes, absolutely.
And do you think they're looking out for Joshua's and Natalie's best interest?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And do you think they would be protective of their grandchildren?
Not against Nathaniel.
Well, when you say not against Nathaniel, I'm not talking about anybody else. I'm asking you if you think their grandparents would be protective of them, period, not against anybody or just,
Yes, yes.
okay. So would you think that if the children are with their grandparents, they're in good hands?
Well, I asked the children if they would like to have visitations with their father and the grandparents be supervising. They said no.
Okay, but you
But they
understand
wouldn't do anything.
the decision isn't from a 10-year-old or a 7-year-old. You understand that?
Right, right. But
Okay.
I have the same feeling about it, that they wouldn't
Okay.
do anything to stop.
So do you think that what's in the best interest of the children is
Mhm.
for them not to have a father?
I don't think that.
Okay, so your position is they should have a father in their lives.
Yes, I do, very much so.
Okay, and obviously their father is Nathaniel.
Yes,
And if there's issues regarding anger, parenting, don't you think that there's other ways to resolve issues with that than taking the children away from him?
I think that he needs to seek help for someone with bipolar disorder, and he needs to get that help over time.
Okay.
This stuff is not going to clear itself on its own, and like within the next day, he needs help, and he needs to seek that help. And the kids are going to start school, and they have a lot of things going on right now, and then I don't think it's going to be conductive for them, or something that's going to be good for them with visitations with him if he hasn't gotten help yet. He needs that help. And I do want them to have time with their father. I do want their father to be in their life. I just think that their father needs to get the help that he needs, and he's been needing it for years. So I just really feel like he needs to get that help before he is introduced back with our children.
Okay, so if I were to tell you that Nathaniel has enrolled in anger management classes or counseling sessions at UTRGV Counseling Center, would that be something that would satisfy you if he were to, because if he were to address this issue that you claim he has, you think you would feel more comfortable if he were to attend that type of counseling?
I don't believe that his problem is anger management. I believe his problem is his bipolar disorder, and he needs to get help in that area.
Okay, and again, you're a physician that's diagnosed him with bipolar disorder?
No, behavioral center. at
Your Honor,
Renaissance has
objection,
diagnosed him.
statement of facts. That's not what the applicant is stating.
Okay, Ms. Hernandez, do you suffer from any type of mental issues?
I have anxiety.
Okay, do you take medication for that?
I do not.
Why not? Why not?
I don't know. I have gone to counseling for it.
Okay, so you admit you have some mental issues that need to be addressed also.
Yeah, the result of him with living with him.
Okay, so you're blaming Nathaniel for your mental issues.
I got them when I was living with him, yes.
Okay, and you don't think maybe his mental issues are because of you?
No.
Okay, so it goes
They're a
one way, but
result
not
of
the other.
drugs that he used to do a lot of. And it does run in his family. So, and he was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, not by me, but by physicians at the behavioral center at Renaissance.
Okay, but you admit that you suffer from anxiety
I
and that
do.
you don't take medication for that.
Your Honor,
I-
objection asked and answered.
It does not affect my
Oh.
time with the kids, and I don't hit my kids because of it.
Okay, so while the kids are with you, you don't suffer from anxiety.
Only the only time I suffer from anxiety is whenever I hear from him.
Okay, not when the kids are with you by themselves.
No, actually, we're very happy.
So how do you explain suffering from anxiety but not having anxiety? How
I
can you
told you
explain that?
It's only when I hear from him. So prior to this, I used to hear from him quite a bit. And so, yes, I suffered from anxiety then. But since I've had the children and they've been with me, it's been fine. Only time I have it is whenever he's brought up, that's when.
Okay, now, excuse me, the divorce was filed when, 2017, 2018?
2018, yes, Judge.
And have they been living together?
No,
No.
Okay, so it's been how many years now?
4 years,
Four?
Judge.
4 years, okay. And so, but they had a visitation schedule between the two of them, right? During this
We had an
period?
arrangement, Your Honor. Yes.
Yeah, it
Okay.
wasn't by court order, Judge. It
Right.
was basically by agreement.
Agreement, right, okay.
Correct.
Okay, my main concern here is the grandparents. Are they the kind that, do they have any criminal record? Do they have any? That's my concern. That's all I want to hear right now. So can we bring them on right now?
Sure, Judge. If I can just ask one more question, Judge.
Sure,
of
sure.
Ms. Hernandez.
Uh-huh.
Ms. Hernandez, you're aware that Ms. Juanita Hernandez, in her home, that each of your children have their own room. I'm sorry, they share a room at her house. Is that correct?
Yes.
And you understand that at Mr. Calixto and Sylvia Hernandez's house, they each have their own room. Is that correct?
I mean, they were for their children, but if they say that that's true, they have a lot of rooms in their home.
Okay, and again, your testimony was that the grandparents have a very good relationship with the kids.
Yes.
Okay, Judge, if I can just have the grandparents testify, Judge?
Well, I mean, is there any knowledge that you have, Miss Ashley, about them being bad grandparents?
No.
I think
don't.
I think the main thing you told the court is, I'm afraid that if they're gonna pick sides, they're gonna choose the son over the grandkids, right? That was the main thing?
Yes.
That was the main thing. Okay, I understand now.
Your Honor, it's my understanding that her concern, based on her testimony, is that they're not going to intervene if another incident arises. So.
Right, she said that too, right? I heard that
Yes,
too,
Judge.
right? I heard it, right?
Thank you, Judge.
Okay, well, anyway, in the meantime, I think I heard, Mr. Guerrero, you wanted to extend this temporary order and then have them be the supervisors, like for 2, 3 or 4 hours, like on a
Correct. Correct,
Saturday
Judge.
and a Sunday, and then the rest of the time go back with Miss Ashley.
That's
Their
correct,
mom?
Judge. That's correct, Judge. And again, my proposal would be similar to other cases where we're trying to reestablish the parent-child relationship
Do it
and
gradually.
start off with 4 hours a day on weekends. And then once we can report back to the court in 30 to 45 days, 60 days, whatever the court seems is fair.
Like a
And then
status hearing.
report to the judge how the visits have gone. And then if they've gone well, we would then request a phase 2, which would be step up to a little more visitation. If there's issues at the first hearing that the court needs to address, then obviously we want them addressed. But what I foresee here, Judge, is that if the court would allow us to at least start something, we have to start somewhere, and we'd rather start sooner than later to keep
Okay.
this relationship intact. And so my request is that we start immediately this weekend for the kids to be with my client under the supervision. All 3 grandparents are willing to, at least one will be present, if not both, 2 or 3. But and their testimony would be that they each have their rooms at their homes. They get along great with them. They love being over there. A couple, I think Joshua even contacted Mr. Hernandez and wanted to know when they were going to see him again. So I think they want to see their grandparents, and at the same time, it'll help reestablish Mr. Hernandez's relationship.
And if the father is gonna take him somewhere, like somewhere, Pizza Hut or whatever,
Yes,
that
Judge.
at least
grandparent
one
will be-
grandparent needs to accompany them.
Yes, sir. That's I've already talked to the grandparents about that, because the first thing they asked is, if we don't want to keep them at home, can we take them out somewhere? Well,
Yes,
of
as long
course.
as they go together.
Correct.
Your
And he's
Honor.
gonna, and he's gonna be enrolled too, right? Like in that anger management or something?
Yes, Judge, he's already enrolled in the anger management program at UTRGV Counseling Center. That's counseling that occurs after work from 7 to 10 in the evening.
It's a long
So,
time.
Your
So-
Honor, if I may, I would like to request for it to at least be in the beginning in a public setting, in a public place. The limited hours are fine. And I would like to know how long he's been attending counseling, because it was going to be my recommendation that he attend some sort of parenting class or batterers intervention program. So if I could know how long it's been ongoing and how
Okay.
long it's going to go for, then that would, I think, alleviate some concerns that the applicant has.
Your Honor, Mr. Hernandez just retained me on this case last Monday. So I did speak to him last week about trying to seek help if the court was going to require that. He wanted to do it on his own. He did check with UTRGV. It's my understanding that he's already in the program, but I'm not sure how long the program is. But he is looking forward to attending it, and we can obviously give the court updates on that. If we can get written reports or some type of confirmation of his attendance and
Or
how
certificate.
long it's going to be, well, obviously let the court know about that.
Mhm.
Your Honor, I would request that we at least set another hearing where we can get proof of this attendance. Because my applicant did tell me that she asked him to promise to not to hit the children anymore. And he stated he couldn't make that promise to her. So we're concerned that he still has those anger issues, and we would like to see that he is in fact attending those courses. And so we would request for at least another setting so that we could see that.
Okay, well, as soon as you have some kind of evidence, Mr. Godina, just give that to the state
Sure.
about his enrollment and, his schedule for his 7 to 10 sessions.
Yes, sir.
But okay,
Judge, if you would
Oh.
consider possibly allowing, if there's going to be access to the children, for it to be in a public place, at least in the beginning, so we can see how the children react.
well, okay, we can start Saturday and Sunday, like this weekend, at a public place. And then after that, it can be at any public place or both or at home of the grandparents.
I know that when I discussed with the grandparents, Judge, and having an 8-year-old granddaughter, I know that at that age, they're 7 and 10.
Uh-huh.
The first thing I asked the grandparents is, do you have access to Wi-Fi? Because I know that young kids like to be on the internet, like to play games, like to do that kind of stuff. And that kind of stuff the kids would do at home. I don't think in a public place. I understand the state's concern,
Mhm.
but to make it mandatory that they have to be in a public place, before they decide, or the court decides that they can go stay at the house, I think it can be either or, if the court would be okay with that.
And if I may, Your Honor, if they're going to see them for only a few hours a day, I doubt that they're going to be on their phones or on the surfing the internet. I think that they would want quality time. So we are urging public place for now, Your Honor, if that's okay.
Well, just the first weekend, only a public place, and thereafter at home. Okay?
Thank you, Judge.
And Judge, I would ask the court to, as far as pick up and drop off, in order to avoid direct contact between the parties and possible problems, I'm going to ask the grandparents if they'd be okay in picking up the children and dropping them off with Ms. Hernandez, if that's okay with the court.
I think so. That'd be fine.
Ms. Hernandez, there's no issue with that, correct?
No.
Okay?
Thank you, Judge.
And I agree, we can do a gradual thing and then come back for a status hearing and just find out where we are and make some tweaks and adjustments if we have to.
Okay, and Judge, what hours is the court considering on the Saturday and Sunday, Judge?
I think you said earlier, which sounded pretty good, like 1 through 5.
1 to 5 on Saturday and 1 to 5 on Sunday?
Uh-huh.
Is that going to be every weekend, Judge?
Well, I think those are good times, but Y'all can agree on some other 4 hours.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying that I'd like every weekend, Judge, because it's only 4 hours. If it was
Right.
overnight, then we'd be asking for one weekend, but if it's just one, if it's
No,
just
it'll be
4
every
hours,
weekend.
every
But I think
weekend.
what, the 1 to 5, is that okay?
yes.
Your Honor, if I can
wonderful.
confer with the applicant, we haven't discussed specifics as to this. Ms. Hernandez, would you want every other weekend at least?
I would want every other weekend at least. Every
If-
weekend is,
But
no.
Just because, Your Honor, it is in the middle of the day, and I'm not sure if she already has her routine where she
Okay.
helps them with homework or shopping for school supplies, something like that.
Well,
So
Okay.
if I can address one thing here, Judge.
Sure.
Was that the family was just telling me. My client, whenever he had the children in his possession, they would attend church on Sundays. So if the court can give us hours on Sundays where they can attend church with the children,
10 to 2 on Sundays.
they 10 to 2,
10 to 2 on Sundays, yeah.
because they attend Abundant Grace and Palm Valley Church and Mission with the kids.
Yeah,
They go to
they're-
Bible class and stuff. So
Yeah, they're on 495.
yeah, so
Griffin Parkway.
1 to 5 on Saturday, 10 to 2 on Sundays. And again, we're asking the court for every weekend since it's only 4 hours a day, Judge. The rest of the day, they're going to be with her.
and Your Honor,
Okay.
we are going to urge every other weekend just because I'm sure
Well-
the children already.
Okay, for
After
right now,
routine.
it will be every weekend. And then, like I said, we'll come back 30 days or so for status hearing, and we're gonna start tweaking and making changes. Okay?
And just to make sure that for details on the pickup and drop off, I believe my clients and his parents know where she lives.
Okay.
So
No.
the pickup and drop off will be at her house, I guess, or at
Okay.
her.
And it'll be the grandparents or one of the grandparents.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
And if I may, Your Honor, Mr. Gordon, I can send you my email so you can send me the certificate or proof of attendance
I will
for
send
the
that to-
respondent.
I
Thank
will send
you.
that to you as soon as I get something.
All right.
Thank you.
So signs, give me an order for signature and I'll sign it as soon as I get it, okay?
Yes,
Thank
Judge,
you,
we'll follow
Judge.
with the court. Thank you.
Judge, Judge,
Oh, we need an extension of the TRO. I mean,
Judge,
I can file
protective order.
the extension, yes, Judge.
there's a code to her.
Yes.
Judge, there's apparently, Mr. Hernandez is signaling to me that there's a code for them to get into the neighborhood where Ms. Hernandez lives, and
You need to know the code. You need,
we're gonna need
yeah,
the code.
you need the
They know-
information on the code.
I can get with the applicant and send that over to you, Mr. Gordon.
Yeah,
Just send it
of
over.
course you need a code. Okay?
Yes.
Hold on, Judge, just one more.
I've got 11 o'clock criminal cases.
I'm sorry, Judge, the grandparents are asking if they can contact her when they're on their way to pick up the children.
That's
Yes,
okay.
yes, that'd be a good idea to make sure everything
And
is
to drop off.
ready.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah. Thank you,
Okay.
Judge.
okay, good luck, everyone.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Judge.
Okay, good luck, everyone.
Thank you for listening to us.
All right, stay safe.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.